House.
I need some popcorn and bitches.
You've changed things. Forever. There's no going back. See, to them, you're just a freak. Like me.
Yes, sir, that's the trailer for 2008's The Dark Knight. Easily Sarcazmo's most anticipated movie ever. Probably the most successful superhero movie of all time. What can you say about The Dark Knight that hasn't been said already? It seems nowadays all these superhero sequels are better than the original.
I object. The following superhero sequels are clearly inferior to the original movie, and I present to the viewing audiences as evidence. Punisher Warzone.
I'm gonna get my applesauce back.
Superman 3, Superman 4, Quest for Peace. X-Men 3, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Darkman 2, The Return of Durant.
Vengeance.
We are going back into the arms business.
Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die. After that, you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 3, Turtles in Time.
You were expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back, and they're back in time.
RoboCop 2, RoboCop 3, Iron Man 2, The Crow, City of Angels, The Crow's Salvation, The Crow Wicked Prayer. I could go on and on, but I won't. I rest my case. Oh, Kaz. There's one more. RoboCop, Dark Justice.
Surprise! You're wondering who I am. Secret, secret, I got a secret. Machine or mannequin. Secret, secret, I got a secret. With parts made in Japan. You're boned, baby.
Now most people don't realize that The Dark Knight could have easily never happened. And on today's show, we're going to give you, the viewer, a little history lesson via pictures and clips of the Batman film franchise and how it's evolved into what it is today.
Now we're talking.
We're also going to do not some Fast 5, but some Fast 1, featuring only The Dark Knight. We're going to see what the Funhouse crew has to say about this modern day classic. Also on tap, some top 7, Dark Knight edition, and some random tomfoolery, hijinks, and shenanigans.
Cart theft got you down? Call me, James T. Lawson, at 555-555-5551, and we'll get your carts back.
But first up, here's a quick detailed history of the Batman film franchise and how The Dark Knight came to be. Let's roll that mediocre footage. In 1989, Warner Brothers, after years of the character being in development hell, released Batman. The hype was undisputable, the marketing irrefutable,
Love that joking.
and the merchandise uncontrollable. There was a Batman logo on just about everything, and I mean everything. Batman was everywhere you looked. If in 1989 you asked a second grader who was the president of the United States, odds are he would say Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yes, Batman was a huge summer hit. Michael Keaton, despite a 50,000 signature letter of protest from fans advising the studio not to hire him, was cast anyways. Jack Nicholson, the producer's choice from the beginning, was cast as the Joker, and boy did that man get paid.
A little bit more of the old school style of Joker to me.
Estimates range from $6 million plus a percentage of the final gross to as high as $70 million when all was said and done.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Now, I'm no genius on market inflation and percentages, but any percentage of $411 million is some serious arcade coin. That was a boatload of scratch in 1989. Adjusted for inflation, I believe it's pretty close to the national debt. Batman Returns, the second best movie in the entire series, was released in 1992. Now this is where things start to get interesting. Tim Burton, the director of the first Batman, only came back after securing greater artistic control over the movie.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I don't know anymore, Bruce.
Numerous rewrites of the scripts were drafted until Tim Burton was satisfied. One hidden gem of movie trivia rumor knowledge not often known to the average movie fan was that the character of Max Schreck,
How you been?
played by Christopher Walken, was originally going to be Harvey Dent, Billy D. Williams in the first Batman. And at the end of Batman Returns, when Catman kisses Shrek with electrical wires, it was supposed to be Dent.
How about a kiss, Santa Claus?
An electrical explosion would have scarred one half of his face, creating one of Batman's greatest foes, Two-Face.
She tries to blackmail me. I'll drop her out a higher window.
Anywho, Returns was released to much less fanfare,
Semi-hard, I'd say.
was way darker than his predecessor, too dark for corporate hamburger producing juggernaut McDonald's, who pulled the Batman Returns toys from their snappy nappy Happy Meal packs. Maybe it was the penguin biting off an advisor's nose, or the tight leather of the Catwoman, or the fact that when the penguin was but a child, his parents dumped him into the river to drown. Remember this guy? He was in Over the Top as the bad guy.
I drive truck, break arms, and arm wrestle. Being number one is everything. There is no second place. Second sucks.
He was also in Batman Returns as a member of the Penguin Circus Gang.
Yeah, go ahead and hit me.
Though Batman Returns was a hit, it wasn't a hit enough for Warner Brothers, who decided to go in a much safer, family-friendly direction for forever. Tim Burton did not want to conform to Warner's vision, so he signed on as producer instead. He gave his go-ahead to hire the director, and that director ended up being Joel Schumacher. After Michael Keaton, who cited a desire to pursue other roles, turned down a reported $15 to $35 million to continue wearing the cape, Val Kilmer, coming off a kick-ass, probably best supporting Oscar nomination-worthy performance as Doc Holliday in the Western Tombstone,
Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked over your grave.
signed on without reading a script. In hindsight, maybe he should have taken a quick glance. Little known fact is Marlon Wayans, who had signed on to be Robin in Batman Returns, but too many characters put that on the back burner, he was to appear as Robin in Batman Forever. But with the change of directors came a change of Robins, and Joel Schumacher chose Chris O'Donnell over Leonardo DiCaprio for the role. But don't worry about Marlon though, he got paid regardless, and with the exception of Requiem for a Dream, would go on to play the exact same character in every movie he ever made. Jim Carrey, who was white hot at the time, was cast as Riddler, and Tommy Lee Jones was cast as Harvey Dent / Two-Face after previously working with Schumacher on The Client. But wait, wasn't Billy D. Williams Harvey Dent in the first Batman? Yes, he was, and he signed on for Batman, knowing that Harvey Dent would become Two-Face, and he'd get a crack at playing the highly coveted character in the sequels. But the studio said, no, we want a name. Billy D. had a pay-or-play deal, which means he gets paid regardless. Warner's opted for the pay portion of the deal and sent Billy D packing, but not without a slap on the backside and a thorough padding of his bank account with some serious financial considerations.
My take on the Billy D situation? Yeah, Billy D probably did have a contract for other Batman films after Part 1.
Number one, never run out of Colt 45.
And yes, he probably realized that a bit part in Batman would lead to the dream role of Two-Face in future sequels.
Rule number two, never forget rule number one.
You know, but from a marketing standpoint, he wasn't a big enough star anymore.
But why take chances?
And I guess it didn't look right on the marquee. You know, Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, and Billy D. Williams. Although, he probably would have done a better job than Tommy Lee Jones. Who was basically just a Joker, you know, rehash. Slash crazy bad guy one-on-one-ing it. I mean, you know, he would have been out of place amongst the other huge actors in the film. You know, he got paid and he walked away. Case closed.
Now back to the story. On paper, Joel Schumacher would seem like a solid choice. I mean, he directed the vampire cult classic The Lost Boys, the mega underrated horror movie Flatliners, and he also directed Falling Down. But this choice would ultimately change the history and fortunes of future actors and the studio alike. Forever was an undeniable hit. It was more kid-friendly, which I guess equals more dollars. But nowhere near as artistic or entertaining as the previous two. Schumacher's color schemes and take on action was a complete 180 from Tim Burton's dark, dreary atmospheres. The fact that this was a huge hit meant one thing and one thing only: another Joel Schumacher-directed Batman movie. Oh yes, the coffin had been started on this franchise, and the final nail is about to be pounded.
At the Whiskey in front of thousands of adoring fans. Okay, thanks. I gotta go. I gotta pack up